entire life, I've been told I can't sing. I think my favorite joke is, hey, who sings that song? I'm like, I think it was David Crowder. Oh, you should let him do it. Okay, yeah, fair. But I really felt a calling in my life to get into music, to get into worship, to really praise. And I mean, it wasn't until my later years that it really caught me hard. I think I was 22 years old whenever I bought my first guitar. I was, well past my teenage years. Like all through high school, I had different dreams, I had different aspirations, and even though I wanted to get into music at that time, I put that aside and I pursued other things, other young and dumb and stupid things. And, I guess the only thing worse than being young and dumb would be to be old and dumb. So I luckily didn't fall into that trap. So at 22 years old, I picked up my first guitar and I just started playing. I remember at that time, I was going through a really rough time in my life, and someone I barely knew invited me to go to a church camp, and they didn't know much about me, but I took that old beat up guitar. That's actually my first guitar, that one that you saw the American flag on it. That guitar used to be blue, and it was a really ugly shade of blue. But I took that to church camp, and they didn't judge me for not knowing much about anything whenever it came to being leading a godly life. Or, I knew the basics from when I was a kid, but they invited me up to play with them, and I knew 3 chords maybe at the time, and they brought me up there, and then they started encouraging me and telling me that they see something in me, a potential in me to actually, I forget how they worded it. I think they said something like a future worship leader. And I go, that's not me. I can't sing. I know 3 chords on the guitar. I can play for like 5 minutes before my fingers get sore. That's not. I don't see the same vision that you guys are seeing in me, right? And they encouraged me. And by the time I left that church camp, which was 5 days long, I knew every song that they had, and I could play it frontwards and backwards. And I don't know how that transformation came about. I went in knowing nothing, and I came out knowing something. And it brought me to a different place in my life. And a couple of years later, I went from this guy who knows nothing about worship, couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, to I was actually leading worship at my home church, Victory Worship Center, which I joined with my wife. And I just want to talk about the pitfalls that come with achieving success, because when the devil can't bury you in insult and keep you down, then he'll actually bring you up to a place where the success will go to your head, and you'll become prideful, and you'll think that, well, now I know how to do this, now I'm good at this, now I'm successful. Then you'll stop relying on God for it. And I came to that place in my life, and for a year, after that I had led worship, and it was soulless, it was godless, it was just me going up there because what I allowed myself to do was instead of being focused, I was focused on the act of worship, right? I was focused on the songs that I sing. I was focused on, well, does this sound good? Is this good enough? How did the bass sound? How did the drums sound? Is this all coming together? And I got to focus on that. And I really lost sight of the fact that it's not about the state of the worship. It's about who we worship. And I lost sight of that. I had to get a real perspective shift. And I wound up stepping down from leading worship at my church because of that. Because I got so focused on the music aspect that I lost sight of the God aspect. And I'm just telling you guys this as a cautionary tale, that God will bring you up from nothing, because your calling, it is not something that God will take away from you, right? And He'll bring you up into that. And if He's called you into any sort of ministry, like Mr. Denny here, to speak in front of people and share his testimony and share with people, the pitfalls of being a high schooler. I have a daughter your age actually, and she's been in some troublesome times and fallen into the same pitfalls as you. It gives me a lot of hope whenever I see you up there speaking, with a heart for God like that. But I'm just saying, be wary of the pitfall, because it took me a lot of time to get my perspective shifted back, and I picked up my guitar again, and I started playing music again. Todd and Ethan had invited me to be part of these things. I started a band with Todd, and it's a whole lot different now, because I stopped making it about me. I stopped making it about self-promotion. I stopped making it about trying to impress anyone, because there's nobody to impress. Like when it comes to worship, it's for an audience of one. And I'm just really glad to be part of this, And you guys are all just singing along with me, and I was, that's the most beautiful sound to me. Yeah. Is everybody singing in one voice? Because the song "Relentless" that we did earlier was a song I wrote, and it had a lot of personal meaning to me, because during that time where my perspective was skewed and everything, even then, God was relentlessly pursuing me and sending people in my way and to counsel with me, to talk to me, and help me get my perspective right again. So that here I am. I still think I'm a terrible singer, but people tell me I'm okay now. So there's that. It's just, I guess I've gotten better. No longer do people say, hey, let Lincoln Brewster sing Lincoln Brewster songs. So I don't know. I'm just really glad. Thank you guys for coming out today. It's so beautiful. Thank you.
Speaking of songs,